And good morning, everybody. It's Dan Latto speaking. Hope you're well today. So it's Thursday, I think. It's the 27th of January. Welcome, Mindset and Hustle Show. Today we're going to talk about stop worrying because nobody cares, and by gum, we're going to prove it. So anyway, welcome. We took the dog to the vets this morning because sadly, really, she's got a cancerous lump on her side. So she's had to go to the vets and she's having to have that removed, and fingers crossed she'll all be fine. So that's why we were actually running a little bit late, because we had to take the dog to the vet, and we'll go pick her up later on tonight, and hopefully she's all fine. But in today's session, I want to talk about this because I think this is something that we need to talk more about, and I think it's really, really important because, like, as humans, we worry about things all the time, and it's completely irrelevant. Have you ever seen the video where it's planet Earth? In fact, before it's planet Earth, it's somebody in a room, and then it's a house, and then it's like their street, and then it's a city, and it's zooming out all the way, and then it's their city, and then it's their country, and then it's the continent, and then it's the planet, and then it's the solar system, and then it's the part of the solar system where we are on the arm of the galaxy, of the Milky Way, that's our galaxy, isn't it? And then it zooms out again, and you see the whole Milky Way, and you see exactly where we are. And then it zooms out again, and you see lots of galaxies, and it just keeps on zooming out so far that all you actually see is this really weird-looking thing, and where there's billions and billions and billions and billions of stars. In fact, there's more stars than there are grains of sand on all the beaches on the planet. I'm going to say that again because it's just utterly mind-blowing, just to show how irrelevant all of this actually is, this life that we have. And I'm not saying that you waste it, I'm saying that we use it, and it doesn't matter what you do because nobody really cares. But there are more stars than there are grains of sand. I mean, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if there's more galaxies than there are grains of sand. And I also wouldn't be surprised if the universe is actually infinite and it just never ends, which is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And yet we come down to now where, oh, my logo's the wrong colour. My logo's not big enough. I tripped and fell and somebody saw it, and it's like nobody cares. The only person that cares is you, because we have this thing called ego. And I think it's just something that we should talk more about, because I think it's really important. And so when I was thinking about this for this podcast, I was thinking about 100 years from now. Like, just to put into context how much nobody cares. 100 years from now, you and I we simply will not exist. We'll be floating around in the air as ash, or we'll be in the ground, or I don't know, whatever your funeral is. But 100 years from now, you simply won't exist. And do you know what else won't exist? Everybody that you know will not exist. And you know what else? Everybody who knew about you will not exist. And so you just become this crazy uncle, this crazy granddad or grandma, this person from 100 years ago, and he did this thing and he did that thing. The fact that you tripped up in front of somebody, or you fell off your bike and hurt yourself, like, nobody really cares about that. It's just your ego at that point in time which tells you that you should care about that. But ultimately, it's a complete and utter waste of time. And we look at history, we talk about, I don't know, let's pick something in history. Let's pick Newton, whenever Newton was around, I don't know, a couple of 100 years ago. Like, we're thinking about Newton a couple of 100 years ago, and how much information have we even got about that dude? Not a lot. Will these podcasts even exist 100 years from now? Probably not. It just doesn't matter. And so the only thing that matters is what you do whilst your consciousness is alive, and about you going out and doing all the crazy things that you want to go do. If you want to go and ask the girl out, go ask the girl out. If you want to go and ask the guy out, go ask the guy out. If you want to go on a holiday to Ibiza, go on holiday to Ibiza and have it large. Go do these things, because in 100 years from now, by goodness me, you're dead. And everybody that knew you was dead. Nobody 100 years from now is going, oh, do you remember Dan when he was in Ibiza and he fell off the boat and he nearly drowned? And, no one's remembering any of that stuff. Nobody. Not a single person. And so the reason why we use the analogy of zooming out from planet Earth all the way to see how big the universe actually is to see how infinitesimal our lives actually are. We've been alive for the universe has been in existence, I should say, for 13.8 billion years. And if you counted 1 second, let me get this right. If you counted 1 second, I should have checked this before, but I think I remember it. If you count 1 second, every second, that's the dog barking, then it would take you like a week to count to 1 million. If you wanted to count to 1 billion, it would take you 31 years. That's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. And the universe has been in existence for 13.7 billion years. I'm 50 years old almost. It's not even a blink. It is a billionth of a blink of a heartbeat. And yet we worry and we complain about all this stuff that's going on around us, and that we've not done this and I've not done that. And I tried to speak on stage and I'm so embarrassed. And it's like, instead of being embarrassed about speaking on stage and getting all small, how about you become, what's the word? Gregarious, I think that's the word. Become outbound and outgoing and larger than life. Because what's going to happen in 50 years or 60 years or 70 years is you're going to slide into a grave and that's it. You're done. You've been dead for 13.8 billion years. You're alive for a brief glimpse, a blink, and then you're dead again for however long. Depends on your belief system, I guess. But until you prove to me that there's life after death, who knows? There might be something. I can't see it. I would hope that there is. But why is there not life before life? If the universe has been around for 13.8 billion years, why have I not had previous lives? Maybe I have, and the consciousness gets wiped out. But we don't know. But what I'm saying is that in this short period of time that you are alive, it is your opportunity. It's not your opportunity. It's like your duty to live the absolute best life that you can, to go and experience whatever it is you want to experience. If you want to go into space, find a way of making that happen. You want to be a millionaire, find a way of making that happen. If you want to live overseas, find a way of making that happen. If you want to be the #1 best-selling author, find a way to make that happen. And instead of shrinking down, be gregarious in the way that you do it. And I get it. I totally get it. We've all gone through stuff that's challenged us. Family court, goodness me. I'm a dude that's gone through family court, and I was thinking about it this morning, and I was getting angry and angry. I was thinking about some of the stuff that family court did to a dad who just wanted to see his kids. And it was appalling, absolutely appalling. And it hits you. It hits you. To quote Rocky, nothing's going to hit as hard as life. It will beat you and beat you and beat you. But it's not about how many times it beats you. It's about how many times you get back up and you keep getting back up and you keep moving forward one step after another. That is the point. And so 100 years from now, no one's going to give a shit anyway. So you might as well go do it. Why would you play small and miss all the opportunities that this wonderful, amazing life has to give you, when actually you could play much bigger and go and experience all of those things? So let me tell you a story. 38 years ago, let me tell you this story. So I was in middle school. I was probably 11. I don't really know how old I was, so I'm going to say it was 38 years ago. And I was in school. I was in middle school, and it was like the first day, second day, and my teacher called me out in front of everybody and started shouting at me. And I didn't know anybody, and I was stood there in front of class, and I started crying, right? And when I look back at that, like even now, I feel a sense of shame. But you know what? Who gives a shit? That point in time, and by the way, I'm using this as an example because this is happening to people right now. You might be going through something right now. You might have tripped up and fell on the way to work, and you're so embarrassed, or you did a presentation at work and it bombed, or you tried to tell a joke and it bombed. And so you might be going through something as well right now. That split second in time, that moment in time, the only people that remember that event that I went through 38 years ago is me. The only person it affected was me. Nobody else in the classroom remembers. The teacher's probably dead, for goodness sakes. He's probably in an old folks home wondering what planet he's on. The only person that remembers that is me. And why do I attach so much emotion to it? Because it was an emotional event, okay? But moving forward, I can do anything right now. I could literally do anything. I could come out with a cure for cancer. I could blow up the entire world. Nobody remembers that point. Oh, I remember Dan when he was 11, stood in front of my school teacher. Nobody remembers. So why are we carrying it with us? Get rid of it. Erase it. Move on. No one's going to remember the bad stuff that you did. Unless it's really bad. I mean, unless you're in prison because you've killed people. But the little things, the idiot things that you do, the silly things, we all have them. We're all stupid at various points of our time period. Why are we letting it bother us? It's like being a comedian. You want to be a comedian. I reckon that's one of the hardest jobs. But don't be a comedian and shrink back. Be a comedian, be gregarious, and go all in. If you want success, and if you want a life that you'll remember, to quote Avicii on that song, "Live a life you'll remember." Now is your time. Of course, we've got things like pandemic, and we've got COVID and coronavirus and all this stuff that's kind of stopping us living that life. But it's not stopping us putting all the things in place so that when this thing lifts, and it will lift in the next couple of years, COVID will come to an end, coronavirus is finished, the pandemic is finished. I don't know how it will look, but the masks will come off at some point. Hopefully in the next 5 years, we hope. Unless you're wandering around the wilderness, in 10 years, trying to escape the zombies, because coronavirus has gone really bad. But I don't think that's really going to happen, quite frankly. But we're going to get this lifted. And so now you've got this opportunity to put all the things in place that you need to go and put in place so that you can actually go and live the life of your dreams. Go and do exactly what it is that you want to do. And so one of the things that stops people is they have these plans to do these amazing things and then they don't do them. And I'm like, well, why are you not doing it? And they say things like, what if I get it wrong? And obviously the answer is, what if you get it right? First of all, that's always the first bit. But let's say you do get it wrong. You've got plenty of time. I don't care how old you are. One of the guys yesterday were talking about cryptocurrency, and he put he's 55, thinks it's too late. And I'm like, dude, how long do you think you're going to live for? I didn't say this. I was going to say this for the podcast, but that's what I was thinking. I've actually asked coaching clients this. When are you going to die? I've done this on stage. Write a number. What age do you think you're going to die? Hands up who thinks you're going to die between 65 and 60 and 65. Hands up between 65 and 70, 70 and 75, 75 and 80, 80, all the way up to 120. Some people are putting their hands up at 120, me included. The way that technology is moving forward, we've got plenty of time. If you're 55, you've got another potential 70 years left. I know the average age of death right now is 83 years, but it used to be 72 years, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Where do you think it's going to be as, the medical teams are standing on the tall shoulders of giants, having learned everything that they've known, having nano robots running around in your blood cells in 30 years' time, repairing everything, repairing Alzheimer's and all the rest of it. Do you think that stuff's coming? I sure do. So when you think, oh, well, I've not got enough time. Of course you've got time. You've got loads of time. Is it KFC, dude? He didn't start KFC till he was 65, Colonel Saunders. Didn't start till he was 65. Now, 65 back then, by the way, was actually really old. Obviously, 65 right now it's not that old. So I'm 16 years away from it. Goodness me. But if I expect I'm going to live, let's just say 100, I'm going to live past 100, and I'm just turning 50, I'm not even halfway yet. Colonel Saunders at 65 was probably 90% of his way towards death. I don't know how old he was when he died, but on average. And so when people say, I don't do this because if I get it wrong, I haven't got enough time to recover. Of course you have. But what are you going to do? Are you not going to do the thing and leave it and leave it and leave it? So your life left at the end has got less and less time. Let's go do it now. Let's go find out if the thing that you wanted to do is going to work for you. And if it doesn't work, you've got plenty of time to recover, to repair, to rebuild. And so when people say, I'm running out of time, I'm not convinced about that. And next up is, it's all irrelevant anyway. I know that's a very nihilist view, by the way. Oh, what's the point in doing anything? Because nothing really matters. You could think about life like that. But I'm like, well, I might as well go do all this stuff, because nothing really matters. I might as well go and live next to the med. I might as well invest in property. Well, what if it goes wrong? Well, I've got plenty of time. What if it goes wrong? Well, 100 years from now, I'm dead anyway, so no one cares. But if it goes right 100 years from now, my entire genealogical downline has assets that generates cash flow for them. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if touch wood and all that kind of thing. If we're able to maintain it and keep it, usually wealth disappears after the third generation because they don't, they're kind of spoiled and they don't know how to manage it and look after it and so on. But it's all irrelevant anyway. So if it's going to be irrelevant, why not make your life just the most amazing life? It's irrelevant anyway. You get on the £3 million yacht and you've got crew serving you coffee and you're lying on the front and you're jumping off, going around the Greek islands. Like, why not have that as a target if that's what you want to do? Why not have extreme wealth as a target? It doesn't even have to be extreme, because extreme wealth is very difficult to come by, it has to be said. Like, wealth is hard to come by. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't go for it. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have dreams and goals for your life. As I'm turning 50 this year, and I reckon a lot of podcasts will be talking about the fact I'm turning 50. Maybe it's playing on my mind more than I'm consciously aware of. But and the winding down, like, I'm 50. What the hell am I winding down for? So now is the time for you to remember it's all irrelevant and go live the life of your dreams, because you want to get one life and you might as well live it the absolute best that you can. All right, I hope that's useful for you today. My name's Dan Latto, and we'll catch up with you on the next podcast. Take care.